All right, hello my fellow gamers, this is Moses with Project Baka, and in today's video I want to talk about two games that I added to my Nintendo Switch 1 and 2 collection, and again give a little bit of a brief review or thoughts on those games. So the first game I do want to talk about is for the Nintendo Switch 2, and that is Pokemon Legends ZA. So I actually did reserve this game, I was excited for it, and I purchased it. One little disclosure is that the last time I played a Pokemon game was back when Omega Ruby was released, so I'm letting you know it was way back then. Still remained a Pokemon fan, you know. I grew up with Pokemon. First game I ever played was Pokemon, so again, still a big fan. Now I actually want to talk about this game. Where do I start? I'm going to be straightforward with it and be honest. I disliked it. And I want to talk about why I disliked it and see if you guys share the same thoughts. So, again, received this game, played it. The first thing I do want to talk about here that I was very excited for was the game mechanics. Now, this goes along with something else, which is location, and again, the mechanics, at first, I saw the potential for it. It looked kind of interesting. I'm like, okay, well, this can possibly work, but at the end it didn't because of the location, I believe, as well. Now, let's start off with location. It taken place in a city. I'm guessing it's Paris. It was just horrible. I do see what they were trying to do with coexist Pokemon in a city and things like that. The idea was there, but it was poorly executed. And I'll be posting a couple of photos towards the end of the video. But big thing was, first of all, let's go with zones. Zones were completely out of the picture for me because it's just not Pokemon for me. Pokemon is going out there in the wild, capturing these Pokemon in their natural habitats and things like that and searching for these rare Pokemon, where here it's like you find a Dratini in the roof of a cafe, same thing with Larvitar, and just, it was just boring and dull in that aspect of there was no excitement finding these Pokemon. You just randomly find Pokemon anywhere, and these zones don't really have a purpose. They just get created with random Pokemon in it. So that really kind of killed the vibe for me for hunting Pokemon, and there was no eagerness to capture all of them, in my opinion. I mean, I still kind of did, but you know, I wasn't really eager to keep moving forward with that. So location wise, it was just, again, a small map. These zones where Pokemon were there was horrible for me. It was just too small, too cramped. It was honestly just, again, dull overall. Now, jumping to where the mechanics were, now because of the location, when you're fighting, one thing, again, I didn't like was the whole dodging concept of, you know, having to run around. Like a Pokemon battle should be like, boom, and then I feel like the better idea would be, you know, starting a battle and then controlling the Pokemon or something like that. But you having to run around and dodge, that's just not Pokemon to me, you know? Pokemon was, again, you know, having a battle where what's the point of running around? Like, you've never seen that in the show, like, you know, the trainer running around dodging and stuff like that, and, you know, having to set up an attack, and it was just poorly executed on that end. And a thing that also got annoying was if a trainer's behind a car or there's a bush or something, it was, you know, you were blocked. So you did an attack. If Pokemon gets stuck behind something, then the attack is not going through. So it's like there was a lot of cluttering, glitching, and it was just, again, poorly executed in my opinion. Again, I see what they were trying to do, but I feel like the better concept would have been kind of to, like, again, once the battle starts, you can control the Pokemon and, you know, you can battle the Pokemon, do the attacks, similar thing, but instead of having to run around with the trainer and go crazy and get clumpy and cluttered. And again, there was issues when you were on the roof, when you're battling. It just, I just honestly, to be honest, I just didn't like it. So for me, honestly, this was a failed game. And it was very discouraging to play this, in my opinion, because again, I've been away from Pokemon so long and I saw like, whoa, hey, it's progressed. But for me, it didn't. It was very disappointing. The storyline was just too boring as well. The story did not catch me at all. Again, played it from beginning to end, and the story was just like, okay, it's over. I'm done. Honestly, I just haven't played it since then. I haven't had the urge to go back and do anything with it. The side missions were horrible. Like, boring as heck, to be honest. I didn't complete all the side missions because they were just, again, very boring. They were just like, start a mission, run here, boom, mission's done, or run here, battle me, done. And or mega evolve this Pokemon so I can see it. It was just pointless. It didn't get me anywhere. It just, again, just disappointing overall. And there was times where the dialogue was, again, just too long. I'll also post a little video of the dialogue taking 3 minutes. It was up to 5 minutes as well, where, I was just clicking to get through it. It's just boring dialogue that's not getting me anywhere in the story or giving any context, really. It's just boring talk. So the dialogue was honestly horrible as well, in my opinion. And overall, again, I was disappointed. The Pokemon selection was also kind of lame. I feel like, a lot of these Pokemon were just kind of given to you. There was no excitement to it. I would have liked to seen going up in a mountain in a desert catching a Charmander or something like that. But a lot of these Pokemon were just kind of given. They weren't in a natural habitat. They were just somewhere in a city, or, again, given to you from a mission. And it was just pretty dull and lame, in my opinion. Getting these legendary fossils, or just purchasing it in a store and using the machine. It's like, okay, as long as you have money, you can do it. And I could see what they could have done with it, but I think it was just overall, I feel like it was a rushed game, boring, dull. I remember even in the older games, you can surf, you can fly. There was none of that here. You can use Pokemon to surf and fly, and there was none of that here. So there was no excitement, really coexisting with the Pokemon. You're very limited to things, and it was just, oh, man. Again, very disappointing. So again, I was very discouraged from playing any other further Pokemon games, because, again, if this is the recent that came out and this is the best they had, I was, again, very disappointed. So that actually led to the other game that I purchased, because a lot of my friends were telling me, hey, please don't get discouraged. This is just a failed project, but, play Pokemon Legends Arceus. So I did purchase Legends Arceus. Now, compared to this one, the graphics were a little bit, there is a difference in graphics, of course. Even this one doesn't have great graphics, but the graphics between these two were different. So I started playing this one, and I gotta say, what is going on? Because I played this one from beginning to end, and I freaking loved it. This is what I expected Pokemon to be. And this was wonderful. Like, the story was great. Again, it was a different concept, with the, it was just everything different, but you're able to use Pokemon. And I guess it takes in a time where, Pokemon were still, you were learning about Pokemon, you were studying Pokemon, and again, you can ride Pokemon here, you can fly with Pokemon here. I'm like, what happened with this one? If this one's supposed to be the new one, why was there so much missing? How do you get from this to this? Like, I just don't get it. This is a big step backwards, in my opinion, and honestly, I did love this game. I took it kind of a free thing, and again, seeing these Pokemon out in the wild, this is what I was expecting. So I loved this game. The story was great. Again, it had its little flaws here and there, but overall, this is what I was expecting, and I feel like they wasted so much on this. Coming from this, if they had a couple of years, I'm not sure when this was released. How did they go from this to this? And it's just, it was disappointing. I see here 2002. So what happened? You had 3 years to improve from this, and they didn't. So again, this is what I expected from Pokemon. The map was a bit larger. I was super excited when I went to the volcano and saw Ninetales and Magmar and stuff like that. That's what it's supposed to be. If they had like Pokemon, like, if they would have had Entei or something like that, it would have been a little more exciting. But this is kind of like what I was expecting, and it's just insane how they are different games, and how did they get this to this. bottled my mind. So I'm hoping that Pokemon takes a different direction, and goes back to something like this and improves from this and leaves this behind. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that, honestly. And very disappointed with Legends ZA, honestly. It's just, and again, if you disagree with me, then feel free to disagree with me. But that's my opinion. I will keep it in my collection because I'm hoping they do something. I did not purchase the DLC. I did not play this game further than it is. I'm not evolving Pokemon. I'm just, I honestly, once I started this game and finished it, I was done with it. I'm not playing further because there's no need to. It doesn't interest me. It doesn't catch me or anything. This one I'm still playing, so I'm excited to keep going with this one. And yeah, I mean, that's where it stands right now. The next Pokemon I'll be purchasing is probably Violet. I decided to probably go that way. I'm gonna purchase Violet, and I'm hoping it's in a better direction than this one. So we'll see where it goes from there. That'll probably be the next game I purchase, or I might purchase another one. But yeah, we'll go on from there, and let's hope that, there's more positive to this in the future. And I'm excited for it, so let's hope. But again, do I recommend this game? I don't recommend it, honestly. I think it might go lower in price because I think it's failed so far. It hasn't had the sales that it should. Reliably so. I agree with that. And again, I hope there's some type of updates that change something. I don't know. I honestly don't feel like I'll be playing it again, but I'm going to keep it in the collection because it is a Pokemon game and I am a Pokemon fan. So I'll keep it for now. But yeah, that's pretty much it that I wanted to talk about it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.